We got a video, the real Destroy Lonely Story documentary. Let's see it, man. Come on.
November 2019. Playboi Carti had just announced in this Instagram post that he was starting a label under the name Opium. Weeks prior to that, his unreleased music revealed he had actually already been hinting at the name for a while, right in front of our faces. This would ultimately become the start of something big and help introduce the world to its next potential superstar, Destroy Lonely.
Every artist I've heard from Opium so far is nice, bro. Like, they're nice.
I want to make change in the world. In 5 years, I'll be my campaign. Whatever I'm trying to run is gonna be started.
That name is just horrendous, bro.
5 years, I'll be
Bobby Sandaman III, bro. Bobby Sandaman III.
My campaign. Whatever I'm trying.
Horrendous names.
Started. It's gonna be going. It's gonna be my turn.
Long. Talk to me.
Bobby Sandamani III was born July 30th, 2001 in Atlanta, Georgia. You could say from the start he was born to be an artist.
This nigga always looked old as shit. Oh my goodness, look at his face.
He always
it's never changed.
A creative outlook in pretty much everything he did. Not much is known about his mom, but we do know that his father is a rapper known as I-20. A name that may not ring a bell at first thought, but you've almost certainly heard him rap on this iconic song.
Oh, we have bitch, get out the way.
Having a dad who's an artist himself.
Oh my god, his shit was cruised. I'm glad he got dreads now. Look at that shit. Oh my god.
Most definitely played an inspiring role in his childhood, but that's not to say he had a free pass to success by any means. But this is partially why music has always been the center of his life as long as he can remember, with his dad taking him to studios and music video sets as a child.
When I was younger, I got to see like a lot of the shit that my pops was doing. I'm in like some of his music videos like as a baby, so I was like...
When speaking about his younger years, he says he spent a lot of time alone, or learning how to play new instruments like the piano, trumpet, and violin. Eventually, he convinced his grandma to homeschool him in the 6th grade, but this only made him feel more alone as he wasn't socializing or making a lot of friends.
Convince? I've never heard somebody want to convince somebody to homeschool them. Like, I've never heard that before, bro. I heard that niggas just get homeschooled. I never knew, like...
In the 6th grade, but this only made him feel more alone as he wasn't socializing or making a lot of friends, ultimately giving him the feeling that he didn't fit in. This carried on into his teenage years when he finally decided to return to high school and give it another shot. Although he was starting to enjoy other activities like skateboarding, he always found himself just wanting to pursue music. It was his passion, and nothing else seemed to bring him that sense of happiness, with the exception of drugs. During this time, he started to experiment with things such as Xanax.
Don't do drugs, kids. Do not do drugs, bro. Do not do drugs. Because it gets hectic, bro.
And quickly realized he enjoyed them too much, and that's never a good thing. If he continued down this path, it would only end in self-destruction. In turn, this would actually become the thought process he had when creating his moniker. Destroy represented his teenage years of self-sabotage, and Lonely his adolescent years in isolation.
In school, I was going through some shit.
What were you doing?
Drugs. So like, that shit had me feeling crazy. I felt like if I kept doing that, I would destroy myself. Then before that, I spent a bunch of time by myself, so I just called myself lonely.
After years of experimenting, at age 14, he decided to go all in creating music. Quoting, "I made my first song on my computer on some bullshit, and I just kept at it." Fortunate for him, his high school just so happened to build a full recording studio for students. From then
That's tough, bro. A full recording studio? I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, so like, we don't have no shit like that.
Most of his time was spent skipping classes to go record, to which his teacher led him after seeing how passionate he was about it. Here he learned how to record and mix his own music, and even wrote some of his first songs. Sometime in 2016, his SoundCloud account was created under the username Tundra Boy Lonely. Songs like
Tundra Boy Lonely,
No Face No Case, and No Smoke showcased his earliest work in his first ever music video, none of which would gain more than 100 plays at the time. Going back and taking a listen, you can hear the bad mix and low quality microphone being used, which is inspiring to see how far his music has evolved. At this point in time,
can't lie, that's still hard. So this nigga been hard since a baby.
At this point in time, it was all about experimenting until he found the sound that best suited him. He dropped his first project titled Destroy on August 9, 2017. This project showed a much darker and underground sound as he was starting to find his lane in music. While this is happening, he started attending underground shows in Atlanta and making new friends at school. Two people that he met that would become important were his friends Texaco and Neezus. He met Neezus.
I've never heard of those two, but I don't be in tune with people's lives. I just listen to their music and I see what the fuck is going on.
At an event, and almost a year later, he just so happened to move across the street from him. Looking back, he says this was really the beginning of everything, quoting, "I spent every day since the day he came to my school at his house. He happened to have a studio that was perfect for what I was trying to do, so I ended up walking over to his house every single day to record and make music with him. Skipping school to record or make merch became the priority, so much so that he would often plan his day to ride the bus home just so his grandma would think he went." Neezus and Destroy released their first ever collab titled Bag Full of Boof in October of 2017. One day they decided to take Adderall and stay up all night making music. By the end of that night, they had recorded
Took Adderall? Bro, do not do drugs, kids. If you don't know, Adderall is to keep you staying awake type of shit.
Titled Bag Full of Boof in October of 2017. One day they decided to take Adderall and stay up all night making music. By the end of that night, they had recorded a whole tape together, and they later released it under Destroy Neezus. Overall, this was a huge step up from anything they had previously released.
That song so far. Yeah. Oh my god, I can lay out that playing. That shit so hard. Banging so hard, bro.
Remaining consistent throughout the following year was his only focus, and he did just that, using better production and more ambient sounds that were in line with how he felt. While recording, he would often turn off every light in his room and shut all of his windows just so he could record in the dark. Although he was making progress as an individual, his music wasn't breaking through or catching any major attention.
It was good, Subi.
But in 2019, that would finally start to change. 2019.
I didn't hear about Lone until 2021. Well, end of 2021. I didn't hear about Lone until end of 2021. So I might be late, but that's when I found out about him.
Featured 3 different tapes: Dark Horse, Sometimes You Lose, and Forever I Love You. This is important because if you listen back, each one seemed to increase in quality than the one before it. But the real gem would be the single he released in July of that year called Bang.
Beautiful song right there. Alright.
As we know, this would later end up becoming his breakout song. But that wouldn't actually happen right away. This didn't stop him, and he was slowly building a small fan base in the underground. He put his head down and continued his spree of singles, which would lead into 2020, his most consistent year overall. 2020 had 4 different tapes: Underworld, Lord, Broken Heart, and later Overseas.
I liked Overseas. I listened to these two. I didn't listen to Underworld. I did not listen to that at all.
Although all of them were well put together, without a doubt his project Broken Hearts would be the one to stand out, and that's because it featured a song titled Oh Yeah.
Read chat? Bro, I read chat. I answered your question. What are you talking about?
2 months after its release, Destroy Lonely would get a DM from Jay, an A&R and close friend to Playboi Carti. After seeing the snippet of the song on Destroy's Instagram,
Nigga, I answered your question in Discord, bro. Just look at my fucking Discord DM, bro.
he then wrote him saying, "You hard," to which Destroy Lonely replied, "Appreciate you, gang," not knowing what the outcome would be. Initially it was nothing, but a few weeks went by and he would receive another message. This time, Jay told him specifically that Playboi Carti fucks with his music.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We went to the studio, went up. It was just real genuine energy.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, I fuck with bro.
This was right after the release of Carti's Whole Lotta Red album and peak of his career.
Damn, what? It was right after Carti's album? Oh shit. That's crazy, bro.
This would lead up to them actually linking
So,
up.
do y'all think if Destroy Lonely never signed to Opium, do y'all think he would still be as big as he is, or nah? Because me personally, I think he would get big as he is right now, but I don't think it'd be this quick. I think it'd be like, you feel me? I'll hit you up after stream, Slicks. I'm gonna hit you up. So yeah, I think Lone will be big, but I don't think he'll be this big at this fast of a pace. I think he'll still be big though, not this fast of a pace though.
Destroy sitting in on a
if he never signs Opium.
few studio sessions with Carti, to which they hit it off. Their friendship became natural, and that would turn into Destroy officially signing to the Opium label shortly after. This was kept a secret for months though, but fans were speculating on the signing and got confirmation later that year. During this time of speculation, it only helped his career in that more people were tuning into his music and new fans were trying to figure out who he was. His song Bane from the year before started to trend on TikTok as a sound, and this would be the first time a lot of people would hear his name. It was the perfect storm. While this was happening, his songs were being leaked all over the internet to the point that his art—
Bro, his leaks were crazy, bro. Every leak was fire, though. I don't give a fuck. And I don't regret it, bro. I listened to every single leak.
were being leaked all over the internet to the point that his archive page on Spotify had more monthly listeners than his official page. This is something we've seen happen a lot within the Opium label with Ken Carson and of course Carti as well. It was clear they had taken him under their wing and were getting ready to introduce him to the world. During this time, he took a step back from releasing back-to-back projects with the exception of his EP XO.
XO was so fire, bro.
He kept quiet while his fan base grew larger every single day. Near the end of 2021, Carti announced the dates for his Narcissist tour, and Destroy Lonely was listed as an opener. A massive thing to be a part of, especially for the fact that it was going to be his first time on tour. Throughout the entire tour and going into 2022, his career would keep rising in the underground. He was seen in Playboi Carti's music video for Sky, performed at the Lyrical Lemonade.
Wait, I didn't even realize he was in the Sky music video. What the fuck?
In the underground. He was seen in Playboi Carti's music video for Sky, performed—
I didn't even see him in the music video. What the fuck?
At the Lyrical Lemonade Summer Smash and did multiple collabs with his label mate Ken Carson. The anticipation for his first album under the—
It's like, look, like, right, no gay shit. Like, right here, Ken Carson looks sexy. But, like, every other time, this nigga either looks old or like a fucking baby. Like, how does this nigga shapeshift his face?
Collabs
it don't
with
make
his
no
label
sense.
mate Ken Carson. The anticipation for his first album under the label was building, and he teased music for months. On its release in August of 2022, it didn't disappoint, and it peaked in the top 100, which is good for an artist who's still breaking out. The most important part is the project had a variety of styles, which is always a promising sign. It shows that Destroy Lonely is an artist who's still adapting every day, and is not afraid to experiment with other sounds. In a short period of time, he's gathered a cult-like fanbase, and like we've seen in the past, sometimes a smaller but more niche—
Yeah, I say it's basically like a cult-like fanbase. That's some shit. Like, I think everybody in Opium basically has a cult-like fanbase, except for Homicide Gang, and we don't get into detail with that, but
fanbase can take you further in the long run. Of course, some of this is due to the die-hard Carti fans who are now following—
Yeah, also die-hard Carti fans. The Carti fans, since Carti's not dropping, they're just gonna listen to Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely and Homicide Gang. So
his music too, but it only makes sense as he's likely to become Carti's prodigy. From making music in his room with the lights off to opening the stage and signing a deal under one of his favorite artists, he's another example that anything is possible. But this is what he would want you to hear.
Be yourself and goddamn, you know what I'm saying? Be yourself. Like, this sounds corny until you actually realize
facts,
how far
bro.
it can take you. Like,
bro, don't feel pre-pressured to ever change yourself, bro. Be yourself, bro.
I stand on that. I never have not been myself.
Fire video, bro.
Would you pay for sex?
Fire video. We on to the next. Bye.